Hey, this is Josh Ritter.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Oh,
It's another fun record, a beautiful record. You always tend to do that. I don't think I've ever called one of your records even halfway bad. So the gathering is.
thanks a lot.
There's one thing you said about it, in your write-ups that really caught my eye, and I guess it's sort of where the album starts about trying to get away from. You felt like you were tied to your old stuff, and I was thinking about that, and the way you're dragging your old luggage around, and I guess songwriters are forever tied to their younger selves, which I would be really annoyed if I had to deal with my younger self all the time. So,
Well, I feel that just over time, I don't feel and I've never been the type to believe that you outgrow your material. Like, whenever I put a song on a record, it's because I want to be able to like hear it and like it, and when in 40 years, I want it to live on. And so it's funny that what I really want to do every time is change the direction that I'm going, and try and move off into territory that continues to inspire me. I want to, like, I always want to just keep on moving in a direction that surprises me. So, I guess that just means a lot of times you start off with a blank page and no idea really where you're going to go. But that's kind of what makes it so exciting, is not knowing what's going to happen next.
and you did a lot of the work in progress shows. I know leading into that, like how important of a part did those play in creating this record?
Oh, they're so important. I realized that I'd been taking myself so seriously, like all that I wanted to like, keep the songs really close to my chest until they were out on a record, and then I realized, like these are songs. I'm writing them. I want to see what they're gonna do. You never know what a song's gonna do on stage, and part of like wanting to do these shows that were works in progress was that I could see what needed what. It's not that I was basing my decisions on the reaction of the audience, but I could tell, like, when I'm performing for somebody, what a song needs for it to be performable by me, and it was a really exciting time, really fun. I had such a good time doing that.
I mean, that's a really bare way of putting yourself out there. I think a lot of artists used to do that much more before the internet age, and they sort of got scared off of it because that meant, early versions of their songs was out. I don't think a lot of artists could muster having, those early versions floating around out there.
It is funny. It's like it's bracing. You just like, and some versions of the songs are completely different. There's whole sections and parts that I'll have taken out or put back in, and it's only, it's a song will just, it's such a living thing. It only exists for a few minutes, and then it's free to be created again, in a whole different way. It's really a great freedom that you have as a musician, that it doesn't exist quite the same in, say, like in like writing a novel.
And fans are probably, pretty used to that with you. Although I would guess that there's probably some really hardcore fans who get demo-itis on those first listens and be like, "Oh man, no, I liked it so much better the way."
Totally. They're all, oh yeah, that's exactly right. You gotta just strike out and go for whatever feels like it keeps the fire really burning. And for me, getting to see a song transform and change over time. For instance, "When Will I Be Changed," which is on the record, the new record, was a song that I wrote and which recorded, and it didn't. It was there, it was done, but there was something still kind of like told me that it could use something. And then I realized that, like, I've been doing all this work with Bob Weir, and it would be so great if he could sing on the song with me. And so he came in and recorded with me on that, on "When Will I Be Changed," and it was just like just a magical. It added something magic.
I love the work you guys did together on his record too. Just beautiful
Great.
stuff. That last record that, I mean, every record, I wouldn't say that you've written too many concept pieces, but every record seems to have that general theme. And I know the last one sort of hit on religion and small town life and home and things like that. But I get the feeling that this one was much more of an internal as far as lyrics go.
When I'm working on songs, and I'm really going full steam, like I find that I'm kind of like I'm watching I'm going really fast and just watching the road. I don't have a chance to look up at the scenery, and it's only when the record is done that the themes like start to pop out at me, and I start to see the start to see the scenery. And the thing that gathering really took the shape of was storms. Storms are all over the record, and in the artwork that I was doing at the time, it was just something that kind of, and a lot of that storming would be like interior, against yourself, against all kinds of questions about yourself and who you are and what you believe, and then there was the physical storms like lightning and thunder and rain and things that were just all over the record. It was really interesting to see those things kind of jump out, and I feel that no matter what, it's like you try and like not write autobiographically, but it always comes out as something that was made by a person during a certain time, and this is a stormy time.
There may be storms inside of you, but there are certainly storms raging all around the world right now, so I'm not surprised. You and I talk about a lot of the same things, especially on social media, on Twitter, and I think I'm more surprised that this isn't an overtly political album, that didn't just come roaring out of you like that. I love the way you kind of internalized it, but
it's always interesting. You can never like write what you think should happen. It's like it always has to just kind of come out the way it does, But more and more I've found that I have a whole other voice that I want to speak with, and it's not always the same one that writes the songs.
You mentioned that the paintings before too. I mean, there's a much stronger visual representation this time around. And I guess there's always sort of that marriage that you do with every album, but this one seems pretty personal as well with these paintings.
The paintings are just something I really love to do. Like there's no, I have them and they're piled up, and the beauty of doing them is that they're just, they quiet down and kind of cool off my brain for a while. They're something that it just brings me real pleasure and calm to sit and work on something, even if it's a stormy picture. It's something that I really enjoy, and I've kind of found as my own trip to therapy.
Well, it makes being a fan that much cooler, to kind of get all of these sides of an artist. So I appreciate what you're doing. I'll end on, you and I have something else in common, a big thing, and that is soup. I've said many times that if I get the choice as my last meal, it's going to be soup and tea. Although if you've got soup, you don't even need tea. It's all in one. I've heard
exactly.
I've heard people ask you what you're reading, and I know you're a big reader. I might end this with asking you, what soup am I going to try tonight?
Oh well, I think you should definitely go for my partner Haley's chicken tortilla soup. I can send you the recipe. It's tremendous.
All right, I love chicken tortilla soup. All right, Josh, thanks so much for calling in, and thanks for this record. It's really another fantastic one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll see you next time you're down here in Louisville.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, man.